One of the questions I often get as a pastor is, could God forgive a person for blank? And then usually they put some terrible sin in there, into that blank. Now, my answer to that is always yes. It doesn't matter what the sin is, and it doesn't matter, whether we're able to understand God's forgiveness for us, that forgiveness is real. And that's just not my opinion. Jesus tells us, therefore I tell you, people will be forgiven for every sin and blasphemy. But he does add this one thing at the end, but blasphemy against the Spirit will not be forgiven. And so that gets to be a little bit complicated, and people always wonder, well, what is this one thing that's hard to forgive, even for God? And what I think it is that when we cannot accept that God is a forgiving God, that God is a loving God, if we reject God entirely, then there's a problem, because we're not going to be able to receive any of God's gifts into our lives. So usually when people are asking me, well, can God forgive murder or something like that, and I say, well, God forgave Moses when he murdered, it doesn't usually satisfy them. And if they say, well, can God forgive rape? Well, I might, say, well, you might say that what David did by using his royal power to lure someone into his palace was rape, and adultery too. And he was forgiven. It still doesn't usually satisfy you, because what they really want to know is, will God forgive me for this terrible thing that I think that I've done, and that I don't want anybody to know about my, secret sin, but I would like to know that God is going to forgive me. And I will tell you, yes, God forgives you. He has already forgiven you. The work of the cross is done. All sins are forgiven because of what Jesus has done for us on the cross. Receive that and believe it into your life, and you'll begin to see the hallmarks of what forgiveness looks like as it becomes real in your life, and then can be extended to others.